Today, I'm showing you 5 easy paint techniques that are trendy and look good in so many people's homes. And I'm saving my favorite for the end, so be sure to stick around for that. Hi, I'm Jen with Woodcraft Blueprints, and I teach woodworking projects that are fun and profitable for all skill levels. And one of the biggest game changers in turning your wood projects into something that sells is how you finish them. So let's dive into my 5 go-to techniques. Technique number 1 is painting and sanding it. And this is probably my go-to. It's one of the things I do the most of, and it's super easy, just what it sounds like. I put a coat of paint on it. In this case, it's white. I usually use satin or eggshell finish, and I usually just buy the paint that you can get at Menards or the Behr brand from Home Depot. You can use acrylic paint for this. I just like to buy in bigger volumes than the tiny little cans. So I've applied a coat of paint to all sides of this stack of 2x4s that I've already cut out. And then I'm just going to sand them lightly. And when you sand them, you try to hit places that have natural wear, which would be, the corners and the ends. And then I just go over the faces. And once I start to see that wood grain show, that is what I'm looking for. So I'll use my orbital sander, and I usually use 150 grit sandpaper. Now I don't ever use a new sanding pad. I like one that's already has a little bit of wear to it because I don't want too much paint taken off, just a little bit. So I just prefer to use an older sandpaper pad that's been used a few times on raw wood. And then what I'll do, I'll just turn this on and go ahead and start sanding them. And you can see the process as we go. You can take off as much or as little as you want. Like, I just like to see that grain raise up a little bit. And that is what that finish is that I just love. I think the key here is don't go crazy with it, and also make sure that your paint is dry, of course. So I did paint this yesterday and then I'm sanding it today. Technique number 2 is called dry brushing. Basically, you can take any color paint that you want and it can go over a painted surface, or in this case, I have a stained surface. So this has been stained with Minwax Special Walnut and it's thoroughly dry. You definitely want to make sure that your base coat is dry. And dry brushing just creates this like really weathered effect. So I'm gonna dip the brush in, offload it, and then just slightly go over the wood. And the trick here is really less is more. You can go heavier as you progress if you want, but I don't go too crazy. I have satin white here. This is just regular ultra white, and you can do any color, but white is definitely one of my go-tos. So I'm just gonna take my brush, dip it in here, and then I'm gonna offload some paint just so there's not too much on there. And I use these cheap chip brushes so I can throw them out when I'm done, although sometimes hair comes off, so you gotta watch that. You just kind of lightly go over it. I'm gonna go with the grain. Don't ever go across the grain because like I said, it's going for this weathered look. And I just lightly do it. And if you want more, you can add more pressure as you go down, but I'm just lightly glazing over it. Make sure that your arm, naturally kind of curve when you paint. Try not to do that. Like I said, you can go as light or as heavy as you want to go. If you want it to be mostly white or just a little bit. Dry brushing, you can also, if you want to just kind of hit the edges and the corners, that's another way you can do it. Usually you would find doing this with like a darker color of paint on another painted surface. I got too much paint on my brush right here. Like I said though, sometimes that happens. You just want to make sure you keep offloading so you don't have so much paint on there. You can also, once this paint dries, hit it with a sander again. And there we have it, the dry brushed effect. The next technique is called paint, sand, and stain. And the reason is because just like for the first one that I did, which these are Christmas trees, by the way, I sanded the white paint. So same thing, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to sand these. I think I'm gonna sand them a little bit less than I did that first one. So it'll be a little bit more white. And then we're going to stain them and then wipe off that excess stain. Okay, so very similar thing I did there, sanding. I just sanded just a little bit less. Next, I'm going to stain these pieces here. I'm going to apply a coat of stain and then just wipe it off. And then what it does is the stain really attaches to all of that grain that's exposed and then will partially wipe off on the white paint. And this is Minwax Golden Oak, so it's not a very dark stain. And I did use semi-gloss on this paint, and I think satin would be fine too. But you kind of see how that's aged a little bit. Now for reference, let me go a little shade darker so you can see it a little bit better. So this is Minwax Special Walnut that I will put on this one here. And the longer you leave the stain on, the more it will try to penetrate and age that white paint. So depending on what look you're going for, you can leave it on longer. So that's what the Special Walnut looks like, and this is Golden Oak. Now if you use an even darker stain color like Jacobine, then that really shows up as well. So just kind of depends on your preference. If there's any like spots where knots are, or dips or anything like that, we want to get that stain in there because it really gives it that antique look. Now with this though, we just put oil based on water based, so it really has to sit a while to cure, and it's very important to wipe off all of the excess on there. So this is the difference between one stained and then not stained yet. You see how it ages that white paint. I'm just going to continue to use the Special Walnut on all of the pieces. Same process, put the stain on and then wipe off the excess. Technique number 4 is what I call the weathered wood look. So basically you stain something, let it dry and cure completely, and then just stress it a little bit so that it has that real natural weathered appearance to it. So with the sander, and I've switched to 80 grit, just a little bit more aggressive, I'm really just gonna hit the corners and edges or any spot that would naturally wear. You can go light with your sanding or go heavy, kind of depending on your preference. If you have a darker stain too, that shows up a lot better. That's way more contrast. This is Minwax Golden Oak, so there's gonna be a little bit less contrast, but we still get that look. You can see how this one, how we just have some of these spots hit like that, and just gives it a nice natural type of a look. For my 5th and final painting technique, which is also one of my favorites, is paint staining, which is basically watered down paint. The reason why I do that is so that it gives it more of a translucent look, so you can still see wood grain come through while having like any color you want. So stains only are very limited, and you can use any paint for this technique. So here's what I do. Just find a color that you want. This is a green. It's called Cypress Vine. It's bare. Interior, exterior, paint, and primer, satin. But like I said, you can use anything you want. Now, I usually kind of start off with about 4 parts paint to 1 part water and kind of go from there. Although, a darker color, you will need more water, and for a lighter color, you would actually need less water. I don't have any exact measurements I just kind of start and adjust as I go. I got these little condiment cups at the Dollar Tree in the party section. And you just gotta stir it in to work that water in. And here's a tip, save your old like plastic containers that could be recycled, like sour cream containers or like pasta salad or stuff from the deli, and then you can reuse them to pour your stain or paint in when you are doing this. So I got it stirred up. It's just a little bit more, you know, watery than normal paint would be. And then I test a spot and then adjust if I want more paint or more water. I always start with less water because it's easier to add water, but if you have too much water in this, it's really hard to add more paint and then you kind of just end up wasting paint. So just like stain, I go ahead and brush it on and then wipe it off. And there's our final product. Now, the longer you let the paint sit on here, the more it will absorb. So you can kind of play around with that too. I like that consistency. I think that looks great. That's what I was going for. And if you do this at home, just kind of play around with it and see, you know, what mixture you like. Let's go ahead and do all of these. This paint really goes a long way, so you don't need to mix up a whole lot. I would rather have this color a little bit darker, so I'd kind of rather, I'm gonna let the paint, I'm not gonna wipe off right away. I will let it, you know, sit on the wood, kind of soak in, and then I'll wipe it off. I always try to, when you dry it, make sure you wipe with the grain. If you don't, like, you can leave fingerprints on there and that kind of shows up later. That is what the first piece looks like, and I'll go ahead and do all the rest of them. You can also, if you have a much smaller project, get the same effect by using baby wipes to dip into your paint and apply it. Because what the baby wipe does is waters down that paint for a translucent look. But for a big project like this, like I have quite a bit of, you know, pieces here, it's just not really feasible unless you want to use a lot of baby wipes. Like this 2x4 lumber, it's rough, so you definitely would probably end up with some splinters if you were applying all of this with a baby wipe. So there we have it. These are the 5 of my favorite paint techniques. The best part is they don't require any special materials or supplies or paint. Like, these are supplies and paint that you can find at any Home Depot, Menards, or Lowe's, or hardware store. If you want more tutorials like this and step-by-step plans to trendy projects, then you need to be in the Woodcraft Blueprints membership. I'm gonna drop a link in the description for you.